back tonight on Talk Talk Live. How are you? Hope all is well. Let me put my full cam on here, and we are live on IG and on YouTube right now. Hello everyone on YouTube. Hello on everyone on IG. We are back here on Talk Talk Live. Hope you had a great weekend. Sorry I wasn't there yesterday, as stated. I was doing some administrative stuff, and I thought that, and it ran just a bit over time. And but again, I promise is a promise, and I thought I'd make it up today. So here I am, and we are doing our thing here on Talk Talk Live, sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Fall winter line out now. Actually, the creator of Duntalk is in the background here. She's looking at speakers. Yeah, she's looking at speakers. So I don't know what the speakers are for, but again, she's looking at speakers. So again, yes, we are back here at Talk Talk Live, and we are going to talk about the juiciest topic of the day, quite simply, in these neck of the woods in North America, quite simply, and stretching out over the pond, the affair of T.J. Holmes and Amy Robach. Yes. How cheating in the office is done. I cannot get enough. I thought I'd get out of the red pill for today, because I cannot get enough of this scandal, of this affair. Because quite simply, it was brought to my attention from family. Family had told me about this torrid affair between these two married couples, T.J. Holmes, who was married to his lawyer wife. Just 1 second, let me grab their name. Yes, here's where preparation comes in. Let me just take in Holmes' wife. Yes, indeed. And there she is. It's Marley Fiebig. Indeed. Marley Fiebig, who is an attorney in the United States, and yes, and they had 3 lovely children together. With TJ, and they were living, the successful life, a successful lawyer and a successful TV host, earning millions of dollars a year. And on the other hand, we have Amy Robach and Mr. Shu. I think it was husband. Yes, indeed. Marley Fiebig as Amy Robach husband. There we go. It's always available. Andrew Shu. Yes, indeed. He was from Melrose Place way back in the day. Andrew Shu. He's in his 50s now, but way back in the day in the 90s, he had a very successful show called Melrose Place that did the round. So his face was very, very familiar to her. But again, she was previously married before as well. To Tim McIntosh. You can see this live on Talk Talk Live right now, actually. No, you can't. You can just see my face, because I have it here. I have you here with me on the non-browser. Yes, indeed. So, we just did a quick research on that. So, again. So, just to give a bit of background, I remember T.J. Holmes from... I remember him from, I would say, the BET days way back when. He used to do shows on BET, Black Entertainment Television, for those who do not know. And he's made his way up the ranks, hosting a few, different shows and talk shows. And he finally got his big break on Good Morning America. On Good Morning America 2 and 3. But he's fought his way to the top, to be fair and frank. He's done a lot of gigs. He's done a lot of let's go back into his history, just so that people understand where this man is coming from. This is not a gentleman who literally came out of nowhere. This guy has had a history. This guy has been a television presenter for years, and yes, let's do that. Yes, his Wikipedia. Yes, indeed. Because I just want to get into his quick look at his background here, Mr. Holmes, from a black perspective. Anyways, yes, indeed. Here we go. Aha. The computer's working here. All right. Disclaimers to Wikipedia members, of course. Please donate, please donate, please donate. And I usually donate, actually. I usually do donate to Wikipedia because they do a good service, indeed. So, yes. Yes, he was doing, again, he did some anchor work in the San Francisco Bay Area, again, and then he joined CNN. Yes, that's where he got his big break. His big break came on CNN as a news anchor and correspondent in October 2006. So he did a lot of work on CNN to October 2006. In October 2006, and he did that for about a good, at least 10 years. Yes, indeed. Holmes' last day was, so 5 years. Sorry about that. His last day was Christmas 2011. Then he moved to BET, as I said. There you go. Then he moved to BET in December 2011, and BET announced that he had signed a multi-platform deal with BET Network. So basically, he had done some work on BET. So he done some TV shows like the original series Don't Sleep, and also he done some special reports on the show itself. And then he moved on to MSNBC. He did that for a year. He had canceled Don't Sleep, and Holmes had left the network. So again, he had done the show Don't Sleep for 2 years. Then he left the network. Then he went on to MSNBC, returned to CNN. Then he got onto ABC News as a news team, as part of their news team in September 26, 2014, and on a temporary basis. As he did World News Now, so he did the night shift, the overnight news program. That's where people usually get their start on ABC News, doing the overnight shift on World News Now and America This Morning. That's where I noticed him a lot, filling in for Good Morning America. And then he made his real career milestone by being a part of GMA Weekend, and then made a permanent anchor on World News Now. And then September 2020, he joined GMA3, which is where he really blew up. That's where, but again, this is not a guy who has been who has worked tirelessly in the shadows, basically from, again, 2003 onwards, from local news all the way to a national desk, that being GMA3. So he's been in the industry for a while now. As I said, I remembered him back in the BET days, and again, he has come on and on leaps and bounds as an anchor on GMA3, which all the power to him, all the credit to him. That's where he got his ratings. That's where he got his start. Hello, everyone on Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers. Hello, M3K Photography. Good people. Just giving you a wave there. And so, again, personal life again with Mr. Holmes. He was married twice, as I said. He was first married to Amy Fearson, two divorced in 27. They had two daughters, two children, daughter Brianna and son Jaden. Then he married Atlanta-based attorney Marley Fiebig. So that's where he is now, and that's where he was now. Let that be past tense. March 2010 in Memphis, Tennessee. The daughter, Sabine, was born in 2013. So he has 3 kids from 2 different marriages. The couple separated in 2022 after his affair with co-host Amy Robach, as we know. So that's where we stand with Mr. TJ Holmes. Again, TJ has been out there and about there for a while now. And again, he has slammed and banged in the news industry for a while, bouncing between CNN, ABC, BET, local news as well. So this guy is a well thought of individual in the industry. He's a very venerable TV presenter and news anchor, and also reporter on these various networks. So let us move forward with Amy Robach's career. Just give you a background of Amy, where Amy came from. Just a quick one, because not a lot of people know about Amy. All they know about no. I just want Amy. Thank you. Again, you can see this on Talk Live. Let me move on to the cam. Thank you. I just want to give you a bigger background as to who we are talking about here, Ms. Robach. Again, let's see here. Here we go. Ms. Robach. There we go. Again, she's the older of the two. Think about that. She is the older woman of the two because, again, TJ Holmes is 45. She's 49. She is 49 years old. Again, a bit of a June-September romance, really. Again, she started in local news in the Washington D.C. area. Then she moved on to MSNBC. And she was named co-anchor of Weekend Today. And again, she initially appeared on Good Morning America as a correspondent. Then she became news anchor in 2014. In 2018, Robach became co-anchor of 2020. So this girl is a little more sterling career, but considering who she is, you'd understand that. And in March 2020, Robach began hosting Pandemic: What You Need to Know on ABC. So she's had a long history with ABC. ABC from hello everyone on Talk Live. We are just going on the background of Ms. Amy Robach. Again, she was with ABC News, working on several programs, including Good Morning America in 2020, What You Need to Know again, and also a few other things until she finally got the gig at GMA3 in 2020. And started hosting it with TJ Holmes at that time in March. I think it's March or April 2020, as we said. So again, a woman with a long history. Again, starting in 1995 on local networks in Washington D.C., moving on to the bigger stage of ABC News, and I'd say 2012. Then getting gigs on Good Morning America and 2020, and in 2014, that's where she became the co-anchor of 2020, and then was moved to the new gig at GMA 3 with TJ Holmes, and this is where things began. So things started out, quite innocently. These two were, working together, quite platonic. They are both married, as you say. One married to a lawyer, another married to a well-known actor. And Ms. Feebig and Mr. Shu, respectively. And again, things started innocently, as they said. But, as time wore on, they got closer. They got, they enjoyed each other's company. They started working late hours. They started, showing a lot of admiration for each other, and quite simply, things grew from there. You know what I mean? To a point where now we are at the stage we are at the moment. But you know what? Better than I say it, I have a film that would better explain it. So I'm going to just get into it right here, right now. And I hope you listen in. You can listen to it live here on YouTube. Let me see if I got the caption on. Yes, I do. Oh, no, I don't. Here we go. Now we're onto the browser. Now we need you. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to get into the whole TJ Holmes. I did a little background, so now we're going to get into the whole TJ Holmes affair. At Narisa, we should work together. Hey, there you go. We got a little network going on here in the chat on IG. So, like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to get into it right here.
TJ Holmes revealed why he cheated on his wife with Amy Robach. If you watched Good Morning America, you may have heard the rumors of Amy Robach and TJ Holmes' affair, and reports they cheated on their spouses for months before leaving their partners for each other.
Beautiful story. That's a big part of the reason why you got into running and climbing and everything else, that physical challenge when you're coming on the other side of that. So,
But what explanation does Holmes have to give in regard to why he has cheated on his wife with his co-star? Before I tell you the juicy details, broke that Robach and Holmes were dating and had an affair while still married to their spouses.
Okay, let's stop it right there. Now, that's one thing that I didn't catch is the fact that they were working together on Good Morning America for 7 years. 7-year original. So they were together, working together for 7 years, and their relationship grew from there. So again, they were total professionals to start with, and from all intents and purposes, everything was on the up and up. But it turns out, they had grown a liking towards each other again. But as I stated before on a previous Talk to Talk Live, and I will state again on a few more occasions going forward, the biggest place to find affairs is at the workplace. The most common area to have an affair is workplace affair. Because listen, you're in each other's company for several hours at a time. For half the day, really, if you're working late, and you get to know each other on a more personal basis. If you work together for a long time, as these two have for 7 years. And if there is any sort of chemistry that is found, it's easy to find each other because you're with each other's company, quite simply for hours at a time. So again, we are left here. Is it any wonder these guys had an affair together? I don't think so. I think things had dwindled in their marriages. Something was amiss, and they found excitement with each other. So, but again, the number one place to find affairs is at the workplace, simply because of time together. Let's move on.
Andrew Shue and lawyer Marilee Fiebig. So how did their affair start? Page 6 reported on November 30th, 2022, that Good Morning America hosts Amy Robach and TJ Holmes left their spouses in August 2022 after a months-long affair. Robach was married to actor Andrew Shue since 2010, while Holmes was married to lawyer Marilee Fiebig since 2010. A source told Page 6 at the time that Robach and Holmes' affair started in March of 2022 after they began training together for the New York City Marathon, which they were photographed together at on November 6, 2022, less than 3 weeks before news broke of their affair. A source told People on December 1st, 2022, that their romance started when Holmes helped Robach through a past heartache she was experiencing. Amy was going through a heartache, and TJ was very much there for her and helpful. And that is when they started something, the insider said. Page 6 reported that the GMA hosts were seen canoodling in bars near ABC News' office in New York City in May of 2022. They had a
Stop it there for a second. Now, as you can see, he was there during a difficult moment for her. Who do you reach out to the most when you're at work? I mean, when you are alone and away from home, you reach out to your colleagues at work, especially if you can trust each other in a certain sense. And hey, you know what? Things grew from there. So they say it started in August 2020, but I would say this was years in the making. I say. They were flirting. They were. I wouldn't say intimate with each other. I would say they intimate with each other within the last year or so. But no, this was a slow burn, and it started way back. It started maybe about. I would guesstimate 2 to 3 years ago. It really started, and then things started really heating up within the last year or so. Because that's when they were, they were starting to do things together. They were starting to run together. They started training together. They were working together. So they were with each other for hours at a time and enjoyed each other's company. It was clear to all those in their vicinity that things were heating up, and nobody was there to cool it down. Nobody was there to reveal it to husband or wife of each, because I would say they were in the office on a regular basis. They were there on a need to know basis, really. And this was allowed to fester and grow at an exponential rate within the last, I would say, year or 2 years. Comment if you think that it was there for longer on Talk Talk Live. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Let's continue.
Very cozy relationship on air, but that is what is expected. But they were very careful behind the scenes to keep their affair secret. The producers at GMA are shocked to hear that they're having an affair, a source told Page 6 at the time. The Daily Mail also reported that rumors of Robach and Holmes' affair first sparked in June of 2022 when they were in London together filming the Queen's Diamond Jubilee for ABC, and staff were buzzing about the intimacy between them, a source said. The insider added, everyone knows that Amy and TJ have been close friends for a long time now, running together and even socializing as a foursome with each other's spouses. People also reported that many ABC News staffers, including the head of ABC News, Kim Godwin, knew of Robach and Holmes' affair before it went public. It was the worst kept secret in ABC News, the source said. They had no shame going out together and have been publicly doing this for much longer than a month. Staffers are very surprised it took this long to come out. Everyone was turning a blind eye because they didn't want the controversy surrounding the show. Another insider told people that Robach and Holmes' relationship was widely known by Good Morning America employees, so much so that they were told to knock off their flirty behavior before the relationship became public. There were so many people internally that were unhappy about it, the insider said. They were flirtatious. Another source also told people at the time that there were rumors of an affair between Robach and Holmes in 2021, a year before the relationship became public. There were rumors they were having an affair about a year ago, the source said. A lot of people believe there might have been some truth to it, because you can see there's a mutual affection here. But everyone ultimately chalked it up to a friendship because they always said they were both happily married.
There it is. So, as I said on Talk Talk Live, like, subscribe, comment. This didn't just start in 2022. I think there was an infatuation. It was a questioning. It was a longing for a little while. One party acted, and made an advance to another. It was the advance was reciprocated, and things began. I think this was in the offing for at least, I would say, a year to 2 years. Solid. And I would listen. Yeah, it got really hot and heated over the last year, and it came to a point where they couldn't be out each other's company, and they decided, hey, this August we're going to split from our husband and wife. Yes. So I would say 2 years at least. A year, hot and heavy. They were, secret lovers for a while. Shout out Atlantic Star for those who don't, for those who know. And they decided, let's make it official in August. But you'll see how that comes in handy, and how they indeed changed the game in terms of cheating with that one move, and I think a very clever move on both of their parts. But we'll continue.
Another source, however, denied the affair to people at the time and claimed that Robach and Holmes' romance didn't start until after they separated from their spouses. This was two consenting adults who were each separated. What proof do we have that they're actually dating? A source told the Daily Mail at the time that Robach and Holmes went to the pair after filming a daily pre-recorded segment of Good Morning America. The Daily Mail reported that Robach and Holmes left ABC Studios separately and walked alone to the bar, where they reunited at a far corner in the restaurant. They were totally into each other. She was giggling at whatever he was saying, and they were looking at each other's phones. At one point, she was kind of dancing in her chair to the music and laughing so hard she practically fell into his lap, the source told the Daily Mail at the time. When they left, Robach stood about 20 feet away from Holmes on the sidewalk as he called an Uber. When the Uber arrived, Robach and Holmes got in together and rode to Holmes' downtown Manhattan apartment, where Robach was not seen leaving. The next day, Holmes was seen leaving his apartment with backpack and duffel bag. He was also seen going to a restaurant near Robach's West Village apartment after they filmed their morning segment of Good Morning America. After he ate alone at the restaurant, Holmes walked around the corner and repeatedly looked over his shoulder before continuing up the block, where Robach was waiting to pick him up in her blue BMW convertible, according to the Daily Mail. When they left, Holmes could be seen grabbing and patting Robach's butt as she bent over to load their bags and their leftover food and drinks into her car. Days later, while recording a segment on robes without Holmes for Good Morning America on November 16, 2022, wish TJ was here, Good Morning America contributor Tori Johnson said during the segment, to which Robach responded, he loves his robes. He walks around the hallways with them. So what will happen to Amy Robach?
So, we go back to it. I mean, I think at this point, like, when after the Queen's death, and they were in London, where I would say that they had a torrid affair, and I think that's where they came to it. They had a torrid tete-a-tete, tryst, as they say, lovers rendezvous, as they say. Then it was made. Then they made. I think they came to the decision that they made things public. I think that's the time when they said to themselves, "Okay, we can't hide this any longer. We love each other too much. We're going to make the decision." And I think after that date in August, when they indeed, they separated. They started separation / divorce proceedings with their exes. They made it known to their exes. That's when they started becoming a little more public, as you saw in those Daily Mail photos. They simply didn't care. They hid it quite carefully, I would say, in the first year. And once proceedings had begun and the divorce was becoming final, I know in the Shoe v. Robach divorce proceedings, things were moving quite speedily towards a divorce. It was in the offing, I would say, within the next week, before they were discovered by the Daily Mail and all other tabloids. So that was in the offing. It was clear as day. She wasn't going back to Robach wasn't going back to Shoe, and T.J. Holmes wasn't going back to Phoebe. They were now a couple. They were now, for all intents and purposes, a couple now, and they didn't want the world. They weren't hiding it, and that's why they didn't care about. That's where you had more pictures of them together, more public outings, more brazen rendezvous, and it couldn't be hidden. It literally couldn't be hidden any longer. And now not only the staff but the world knew that of this affair. So again, that's where we stand.
Robach and TJ Holmes on Good Morning America because of their affair. A source told The Sun on December 1st, 2022, that Robach and Holmes may be demoted on Good Morning America and ABC News as a result of their affair. There is no way they're going to be able to stay at GMA, the insider said. They may not be outright fired, but they'll be relegated to lesser roles, which will make it undesirable for them to continue. The Sun also reported that Robach and Holmes' affair may have also broken a morality clause, which states that talent must act at all times with due regard to public morals and conventions, according to a copy of the document obtained by the newspaper. A third source also confirmed that Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney...
Again, they talk about this morality clause in their contract, or as anybody said, as in any contract with HR, there's a code of conduct. And people were saying that, they may have broken that code of conduct by having this affair. Simply put, you're not supposed to fraternize with coworkers, or at least keep it, or it should be kept at least very private. So, it came to a point where it wasn't looking good. And I know who was somebody give me a name of the talk show. Yes, indeed. Hold on. The head of Good Morning America, GMA host. Let me just look it up here. GMA host. Yes. Yes. Enter that, and we have yes. Here we go. Yes, Robin Roberts. Yes, indeed. Everybody's favorite lesbian. She, I heard, did not like the fact that they were canoodling together. Did not like the fact that they had this affair going on at work, and she basically wanted to call a stop to it. She basically wanted to, wanted to make it public and have the affair ended and not have them on the show, among other people on set. But yeah, Robin Roberts was, I think, one of the one of the leaders of, having, one of the leaders or one of the proponents of firing, quite simply, Holmes and Robach for their misgivings. Because again, anyways, I'm not going to make any fun of anything else. She just wanted them fired. So again, it caused a lot of ripples within the GMA staff, within ABC News. As we said, the head of ABC News, head of ABC News knew of the affair long ago, and she did not hide. Under the rug. She tried to hide under the rug, and as long as they kept it discreet. But it came to a point where Amy and TJ were leaving their husband and wife, and they wanted to, make their affair public. Now, again, it came to when the news broke, and it came to, it was publicized not only in North America but throughout the world. It was presumed that both would be, as they said, demoted to certain roles within GMA, and then let go of their contract. Because again, these guys have they earn millions of dollars a year, TJ and Amy. So they're in a situation where they didn't want to have to, pay out their contract, because again, they didn't break. As we will explain soon, they didn't exactly break any sort of, confidentiality rules, any sort of code of conduct rules while in this role, because again, it had been conducted in private, and once they came out to let the world know what they were doing, they had basically separated from the wife, so they were on the up and up. So, to be fair and frank, they are quite clever in how, and this set a precedent, I believe, making a long story short, in how to cheat in the workplace publicly. Because this is a huge role to be an anchor on ABC News. Huge. Huge. Even though it's GMA3, even though it's in the afternoon, even though they call it GMA3, but I don't know, they should be Good Afternoon America. Anyways, but again, they still say it's Good Morning America. But again, it is still a very huge. I think it's the #1 rated morning talk show, or morning network talk show there is. And again, it's a show that not only stretches into the morning but into the afternoon. And so, and it achieves very high ratings for itself. And, it's one of the biggest broadcasts, one of the biggest shows there are in American television. So to be a part of that, huge network, to have a huge network role like they did as anchors, it would definitely attract attention. And again, they would be, it would show would it put the show in a bad light? I guess so, because of the controversy. But again, they did it on the up and up, and we'll get into that on Talk Talk Live in just a bit. So let's let this play, and then we're gonna see the reaction of there on the Friday.
Which owns ABC, learned of Robach and Holmes' relationship on November 29th of 2022, a day before it became public. Bob Iger was notified about the affair on Tuesday, and he has been in close contact with an ABC News president, Kim Godwin, the source said. Their decision is a watch-and-wait approach. The insider continued. Amy and TJ are peers. They quite obviously have great chemistry on TV. They've both separated from their spouses. They're free to be a couple, the source also added. In some ways, this is TV gold, but let's just hope they don't break up. I always say, you'll lose them the same way you got them. So let's see how long this will last for. Do you think the two should be fired for breaking their morality clause? Will you continue watching our segment? Tell us below. That's it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
So leave it there. Shout out to, Drama Bay for that report. A nice succinct report. But again, like they said, they did it the right way, people. Give them credit. They could have easily slipped up. They could have easily made it a more huge scandal while still being married to their spouses, and they could have they had themselves fired. But they did the right thing. But I'm going to get into that in just 1 minute. Let's see what happened the day of. Yes, indeed. Where are we at here? Yes. Here we go. I have a little report on Entertainment Tonight on what happened the day of their comeback, because what happened between the two is that, again, once the scandal was found out that week, Amy took a couple days off. She decided, I want to, I don't want to be around this controversy. I don't want to be around the affair and its ramifications. So she took some time away, and it was the show was hosted on its own by TJ. So, and he had totally played it off, totally laughed it off, and he said, and he never brought attention to it. Then on Friday, Amy came back. Amy came back on Friday, and clearly she was quite uncomfortable being there because she knew that the affair had now become public, and she wanted to, basically go into a hole and die. Well, I wouldn't say die. She didn't want to be there. Let's say that she did not want to be at GMA. But hey, GMA3. But hey, it's her contract. She needs to be there. She's not sick. She's not pregnant or any or any have any sort of ailment or any sort of family issue. So she had to be there. So she showed up on Friday. And Entertainment Tonight, shout out to them. They had reported on their return, and we're gonna see this now.
Holmes faced disciplinary action for their rumored affair. Welcome everyone to Entertainment Tonight.
Past videos are going viral. People are invested in the story. Meanwhile, TJ and Amy were back in their anchor seats under the watchful eye of, everybody. It's too bad it's Friday.
Is that?
It's been a great week. Just want this to keep going.
Speak for
Take it
yourself.
all in.
I am very excited about the weekend.
TJ and Amy's playbook for handling the scandal: avoidance and humor. The co-anchors who are married to other people did not address the affair rumors, and while there's a report that their relationship is upsetting GMA colleagues, two sources tell ET that Amy and TJ will not face disciplinary action because they are two consenting co-workers who are equals in a relationship. Marriage gets a bad rap a lot of times. TJ tried out to be an equal.
Notice what they said there. Let me rewind that back. Notice what they said there in the caption. Amy and TJ will not face disciplinary action because they are two consenting co-workers who are equals in a relationship. So basically, there's no power dynamics going on here. Where usually people are ousted because one party took advantage of another. No, they're equals. And they knew they were equals. So chances are they couldn't find fault with that. They couldn't say, oh, well, one's an anchor, one's a page, or one's another's an anchor and one's a researcher or a writer on the show. So both are of the same high profile, and because of that, there's no power dynamic. So therefore, one wasn't using his place at and his position at GMA to influence another or to coerce another into sex. So they couldn't call him a sexual assaultee on either party because they're both equal consenting adults. So they couldn't bring as they said, any sort of code of conduct charges against them because they did it the right way. They actually, now again, let me say this: I feel bad for Ms. Phoebe. I feel bad for Mr. Shu because they were the last to know about this affair. Nobody would like to be hurt in any sort of affair between these two parties. But again, let's face facts here, people. These two have been married before. They're on their second marriages, the both of them. Their second marriages. And again, I don't know if there's. I don't think Ms. Robach had any kids, but TJ had 3, 2 from his first marriage, 1 from his second. So they're not babes in the woods here. They knew exactly what they were doing. And they liked being each other's company, and quite simply, the affair continued. However, as that affair continued, they made it so that they couldn't be caught out by any affairs. They couldn't, because again, as they said, power dynamic. Both were the same. As they said, they both left their spouses before the affair actually began. It was a hidden secret on ABC, at ABC News and on Good Morning America, but they did it so that when it was announced, they were both parting ways with their spouses. They had both been given the news. This wasn't news to them. So no code of conduct, no sort of morality clauses were being broken here. They did it right, guys. Even though people were hurt in the process, and we again, we look. I give a shout out to Mr. Shu and and Ms. Fiebig for their any sort of loss that they incurred during this affair, because again they're hurting. As Mr. Shu did, he cleared. I think it'll be made a little public at the end of this report. He cleared his Instagram account of any sort of picture of Ms. Robach and Mr. Shu together. Totally cleared it. He's clearly pissed off, and so he should be. There's no doubt about that. So people were hurting this. We have to have an eye out for them. But to be fair, I think this creates a precedent on how to cheat in the workplace. It creates a huge precedent on how to cheat in the workplace. This will be followed for years to come. Watch. They did. If you're gonna cheat like this. Let's continue.
Marriage gets a bad rap a lot of times. TJ, who tried out to be an ET anchor, shared his thoughts on marriage during his audition. I'm such a marriage proponent. I want everybody to get married. I think everybody should, and I think you're better off in doing so. That was 2014. 2 months later, he joined ABC News. He and Amy became co-anchors in 2020. We're told they bonded over their love of running. Here's my half grand on a tip. Ask her for tips.
Stop. We're never gonna get through this.
Think about that, people. Think about that. First, they spend a good how much on-air time they have together, or even prep time they're on there together. I would give it 5 to 6 hours, tops. But then you add this whole running piece to things. So they have shared interests. That only solidified the affair. Because they had a joy, love of running. Something that Mr. Shu did have, but he wasn't as ardent as Mr. Holmes. No. Because quite simply, well, Mr. Holmes was a bit younger. Andrew Shu was 55. Mr. Holmes is 46. So he has more energy in him to run. Run on a few things. Run up on a few things, quite simply. And she enjoyed that. She was very much pleased by having a soulmate in running in Mr. Holmes. And listen, hey, let's these are two attractive people here. We're talking above average attractive people. Okay? These are 8, 9s, and 10s, the both of them. They are attractive people. And what do most women want? They want to be around and cheat with an attractive man. and vice versa. And they knew that they were top of the tree in terms of looks. 8, 9, 10. Even at 49, she looks great. And they said, you know what? If I'm going to cheat on anybody, I wanted to be the best. And TJ Holmes was the best, and vice versa. And with Amy Robach, clearly was the best as well. So right there, that's where things began. That's where love bloomed. That's where, infatuation took flight. Mutual attraction, mutual interests, working together for a long period of time, and quite simply, they didn't want to be out of each other's company. And and again, I would say for the last year to 2 years, this was in the offing. This was going on. This was happening. It's only now that they came out and did that, and they said, you know what, to hell with it. We've already split from our spouses. Let's if they find us, they find us. But they did it right. They did not make it public. They kept it very, very, very discreet until around August, September, and then November. Things got really sloppy. They said, but at that time they didn't really care because they'd already done the due diligence. They'd already gone down the steps of separation and divorce. So, continued.
And now this TikTok video where the flirty co-anchors talk training tips is going viral. I run behind you and you keep the pace. You're the pacer. Let me be the pacey.
Yes, you're the PC.
Okay, see ya.
But we're gonna both be finishers. That's what counts.
We're gonna both be finishers. We're gonna both be finishers. Yes, he said that. Oh, yes, she said that. They're gonna both be finishers. And I think you can tell what they're gonna finish. Running's the start. There's an end, and it ain't on any sort of running path, on any sort of road course. Nope. It's somewhere else, and it's outside of public view, but now it's in the public view, as seen by the pictures and such. We continue.
Another tip is to train with friends. You set the agenda, you say, here's when we're meeting, and at least you feel the excitement of doing it with someone. You don't feel alone.
So when did things get serious? Well, according to one report,
Notice when she said, I don't feel alone. Train with friends so that you don't feel alone. Mr. Shu wasn't doing his job when it came to Ms. Robach in that department. Clearly, Mr. Shu couldn't keep up. He come in from time to time and be, some sort of, support group or support person for Ms. Robach, but she literally outran him. She literally outran him. And then, quite simply, what had happened was that she found a new running partner. She found a new running mate. And it was TJ Holmes. There it is.
both TJ and Amy separated from their spouses in August, and then the relationship
Sorry about that.
turned romantic. The Daily Mail claims their friendship evolved into something more in June when they were both in London covering the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. We are going to be in full swing here in London.
Sorry. It was the Platinum Jubilee. It wasn't the Queen's death. It was the Platinum Jubilee they were covering, and that's where things really lit up. Anyways, continue.
He is married to Melrose Place star Andrew Shue, and a source tells ET no one would be surprised if a divorce is in the works. When TJ was on our set, he was busy with baby number 3 and a loving life with his wife, attorney Marilee Fiebig.
My passion these days is doing baby babble, walking, and
and tearing up the house. 19 months old. We have a little baby girl. Sabine is her name. My wife and I have been married about
Just
4.5
one?
years. This is our first, hopefully our only. One bundle of joy is enough right now.
And there it is. Shout out to ET for that report. Again, he had the one baby with the lawyer, Ms. Fiebig. He had two with his previous relationship, so he had 3 kids. And he said to himself, you know what? I'm sure he was saying to himself, I'm done having kids now. I'm pretty finished. I'm pretty done. And I can move forward with this relationship, move forward with this life now, this new life that we had planned here. But let's get into. Let me see here. Or is there anything here? Yes, indeed. Why don't we go into what I've decided how to have a secret office romance. That's what I want to get into right now, because quite simply, these guys wrote the new book on how to have a secret romance. They literally okay, people at the office knew about their affair, but it came to a point where they couldn't be fired by it. Usually people get sloppy. Usually people get, people who have affairs, especially in the workplace, would come to a point where they would make mistakes. And these mistakes would be done too early before they would break up from their significant partners, and they were 2 consenting adults. So they had no legal leg to stand on. No HR leg to stand on at this point, to a point where now they either have to be allowed to continue at their job, or they have to be, given different assignments, but they have to be paid out for their term and in accordance with their contract. How many people would are available to have that to themselves as co-workers in an affair? Not many, if any. And especially at this high-profile affair, listen, they did it right. Even though people were hurt, they did it right. They did it right. So we're gonna get into to this little wiki how step into how to have a secret romance. I just happened upon this. I said, you know what? Let me go down the steps and see what you think. See what the general public thinks. First of all, you need to communicate in stealth. If preferred mode of communication is texting, use Snapchat. If you prefer email, try flag buzz. Avoid using your mobile office phone. You can always learn Morse code as a last resort and make up a secret language between the 2 lovebirds to chat with. So again, they could have been on Snapchat to communicate. They could have, again, these flag buzz or some sort of secret mode of communication, or they couldn't have used their phones at all. They may have made their rendezvous, and they may have made their times together by secret note or just by verbal communication. Hard to catch that in any way, shape, or form if you verbally communicate it. So it's not documented. You can't just go on their phone and say, "Oh yeah, well, it's done this way." It was mouth to mouth, quite literally. It was just communicated to each other what they were going to do, at what time they're going to be, and when they're going to be there, and they stayed offline quite simply for most of the affair. That's how it became undetected. That's how there are no flags raised. I think they stayed incommunicado, or basically, verbal for most of that marriage. So again, thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We are talking about the TJ Holmes and Amy Robach affair. How you cheat in the workplace. They wrote the book. They literally wrote the book on how to do it, to a point where their millions of dollars they're paid is not in jeopardy. We'll continue with the list here of how to cheat in the workplace. Number 2, be professional. Between 9 and 5, role minds was appeared to be the last thing on your mind. Maintain a work-like demeanor at all times. Avoid touching, lingering looks, saucy comments, or intimate conversations. If anything, give your partner a wider berth than other colleagues. And I'm sure they did that for the most part. But again, things started, you can see things started to get a little more touchy-feely as things moved into 2022. Yes, they did. They literally did. They made it, well, very aware. And again, it all came to a crescendo in November where they just didn't care. I really believe they just didn't care as of last month. They just didn't care. They said, you know what? We're already in a divorce. We've already done things right. You know, if they want to fire us, they can fire us, but they got to pay us. They got to pay us. So let's get on with it. So again, yeah. But as it says here, you know, in step 2 of how to carry on a workplace affair, be professional. And they were professionals. And listen, they were one of the highest rated couples on GMA, on daytime television. They were successful. No matter what you think, no matter how you think of the scandal, if you like it or dislike it, these were 2 likable people. Black man, blonde woman. Who would have thought? Anyways, we move on. We move on here. So, number 3, arrange rendezvous. Set times and places where to meet, where you know you will get some privacy. Arrange rendezvous like an IRS agent. Plan cover stories. Arrive from different directions. And think about escape routes. Didn't they tell us that in all the publications about this affair? Yeah, they did. TJ Holmes has the most to lose. Well, King Onan, thank you for the comment. You know, he does, well, to a certain extent he does, but listen, here's the thing. I think he already broke it to his family that he's leaving. The separation papers are already on the desk in August, September at the latest. So it wasn't new to them. And yeah, I mean, but the fact of the matter is he already has his 2 to 3 kids. It's not as if he won't see them. He won't have visitation of them. It's just that he'll be doing it in the guise of a father, not a father not in the house, but as a father who will be there, on first day of school graduation. Sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. Yes, indeed. I had to call that one out. So, shout out to Outkast. One of the greatest albums of all time on that one. Yes. So, in terms of if TJ has a most to lose, I think he's weighed those odds. I think he's done the cost-benefit analysis and said, you know what? Listen, I'm with a millionaire myself. I'm a millionaire. She's a millionaire. We both have millionaire jobs. I don't think, they're suffering anytime soon. Yes, of course, you have, divorce proceedings and any sort of alimony and child support payments that need to be made. But he's done the cost benefit analysis, and he said, you know what? I'd rather be with her than to be with my current wife, and that speaks to something, people. Well, it's something that we have not brought to the attention of this Talk Live show, in that we have an attorney. She's had a baby. She's a busy woman herself. Did she make time for TJ? We gotta ask ourselves this. This is something that has to be brought to the attention. Did she make time for TJ? Yes, she's in a high-profile job, and as a lawyer, it's long hours away from your spouse. Long hours away from your spouse does not allow for a lot of intimacy. Let me just get this back up. Let me just do this while on the full cam. Yes, Miss Feebig was loyal. I'm sure Mr. Shu was loyal as well, but, he was getting older, and clearly she wanted someone young in her life, but let's put that aside. It's true that Miss Phoebe had and Mr. Shu had a young family together. I think it was a 5-6-year-old that they had previously. Let's just check that out quite quickly here, Mr. Holmes. Yes. Their daughter Sabine was born in 2013. So she is 8-9 years old. So they had a young daughter together. Again, he had two children by different marriage beforehand, but they were teenagers they were teenagers at the time, so I think they had been adjusted. But again, their daughter Sabine is only 8 right now. 8 or 9. 8 or 9. 9. Yes, 9. So there's an adjustment period there. But I think he weighed the pros and the cons, and he said, you know what, I'd rather be with Miss Phoebe and we co-parent our daughter. And that she will be fine. But so again, there it is, people. It is it's a shame that she had to be brought into the middle, slightly into the middle of this, but it's hope that love conquers all, but I don't know if that's indeed the case. We move on with the list. So they arranged rendezvous again, as I was saying. They were thinking of different escape routes. Remember, in the later parts of the affair, they would take different entrances. They would, move in different sequences in order to meet up with each other, so that they wouldn't be detected. It's only now that that they said, what the hell with it. We're gonna just go up north. We're gonna head up to Connecticut into the Poconos, and if we get found, we get found. But we're gonna try to be as discreet as possible. But we may get caught. And if we get caught, we're covered. So at that point they didn't really care, because again, as was stated in the Entertainment Tonight, in the Drama Bay report, as shown by the Daily Mail, Amy picked up. I think they really didn't care at that time. They knew this was going to be discovered. She picked up TJ on the way home from work. They went up for their rendezvous for the weekend in the cabin in the hills, and they, enjoyed each other. Let's face facts. They pat each other on the butt, and they were quite satisfied with each other's company, knowing that if they were found out, hey, what are the ramifications? Not much, because they'd done the right things. So they did their due diligence. Let's face facts. That's why I say this is where cheating at the workplace is how it's done. This is how it's done. If you're going to go this route, there are certain steps you have to take. As we're revealing here on Talk Talk Live right now, we're going through the steps of how to have a secret romance in 9 steps, to a point where you have covered yourself legally. You are on the route to separation, divorce, and at that time you can literally let the public know of your tryst. Number 4, and if meeting after hours, pick a place far from your work location. You'll be easily spotted in the pub around the corner. Well, listen, they're spotted in the pub around the corner from the workplace, but at that time they didn't care. They literally didn't care at that time. In June, July, when they were still weighing things up in terms of leaving their spouses, yeah, you can care then. And that's where they had to be discreet, and that's why I think where things really bloomed is when they went away to London for the Diamond Jubilee of the Queen, and to cover that. That's when things really hit home, and they said to themselves, okay, I can't be without you. Oh no, you can't be without me. What are we going to do about this? Okay, we're going to have to divorce our spouses. So they did. And they did. But again, if meeting after hours, pick a place far from your work location. So they did. They have been doing that. It's only recently that they said, you know what? Okay, we can share each other's company, share each other's spaces. We can make it public. And I think they knew of the ramifications. I think they knew, they were being followed, quite simply, but they didn't care. They literally didn't care. That's why they're so nonchalant about things right now. So, don't leave any evidence. Number 5, this can be anything from undeleted email to lipstick marks to misplaced underwear. Cover your tracks at all times. Avoid sending emails through the company system, as it will only be a matter of time before one gets accidentally sent to Matin accounts. And never commit the ultimate sin, turning up to work in the same clothes 2 days in a row. There's a surefire sign that you can't make it home at the night before, and you will start rumors before you can say scandalous. So there you go. They cover their tracks, guys. Did you ever see them turning up to work in the same clothes 2 days in a row? Well, here's the thing. They have wardrobes. So how can you turn up to work 2 days? Well, yeah, how can you turn up to work 2 days in a row? Or to a certain point, they had change of clothes in each other's houses. Oh, at least one apart. I think in their New York apartments. Because again, I think Amy had a home in in Connecticut or something, and TJ had his own home, but they had their New York apartments. That's where the affairs began, because they could share clothes and have secret compartments for each other's clothes and such. Yeah. This is a New York affair. This is definitely a New York affair. It ain't no outside tri-state stuff. This is a New York affair. They were covering their tracks at all times. They avoid sending emails in the company system. That's why nobody knew. This was strictly undercover. Strictly on the down low. They taught a lot of people how to do it. No rendezvous by email. No rendezvous by text. There wasn't anybody picking up a phone and saying, "Oh, who's this on the phone?" and da. No, none of that. I'm sure all this was word of mouth. All this affair was word of mouth. Nothing traceable. Crazy. But hey, listen. Gotta hand it to them. They did it right. They did it right. Even though, it's not the right thing to do, but they did it. If you're gonna do it, this is how you do it. This is how you do it, people. Again, they never turned up to work 2 days in a row. Again, they cover their tracks at all times. Avoid sending emails to each other through company software. They always. Well, I'm sure they didn't set anything up in and around any sort of. They didn't send emails. Let's just say that they didn't. They did not. They covered their tracks. Head off the gossip. At some point, someone will start getting suspicious, quelling gossip surrounding you and your amour by ruthlessly starting more salacious rumors. So, or in other words, deflection. Well, let's face facts. As said in many reports, most people at ABC News knew of the affair. They knew of it. They couldn't confirm it. They didn't have proof of it because it was all very hush hush. It was all very discreet, and it's all guilty by association and circumstantial evidence, but there wasn't any paper trail. Now again, this is a bit of a silly one, because again, if you want to head off the gossip, start another rumor about someone else. Well, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem, quite simply. But again, it's, hey, they did their thing, man. They did their thing. So I would disregard number 6. Number 7, if you decide to have an extended lunch break, here we go. It's always ask permission from your boss first, and only if your boss says it's okay. Listen, these guys have extended lunch breaks all day long, so... And I don't think they need to ask their bosses. They're paid too much. They need to ask their bosses for anything. So I disregard this one too. If they wanna go on to a bar down the road and have a drink for an hour or two at a time, they're at liberty to do so, because again, they're in a position where they can do what they want as long as they adhere to company policy and they're there on time for the show. They can do what they want. Oh shoot, let me get the browser on. Sorry about that. There we go. We're back on Talk Live here. And we're on to number 7. Let me go back. Here we go. There we go. Sorry about the YouTube. So, in terms of lunch breaks, who cares about lunch breaks? They had enough time together that they didn't need lunch breaks. And plus, they are only on air for like, what, an hour, 2 hours at a time? Lunch breaks can happen at any time anyway, so no worries. Again, number 8, do not show any public displays of affection. They were so good at this. Best to leave kisses and hugs when the two of you are on your own. Butt slaps in the woods when you think you're on your own. But they never made it public. They were very classy in terms of their interactions. If there was any hugs or thing, it was basically through running. It was basically through their love of running that you had any sort of, signs of affection. And any sign of vulnerability they had on air for the world to see. So they conducted themselves, quite admirably here for an affair. It is best to leave kisses and hugs when the two of you are on your own. There's nothing, when no one else is approaching, no one else in earshot, and when the two of you are outside of work and outside of work hours. Yeah, that's what they did. They canoodled from apartment to apartment. You know what I mean? They would have their weekends away. They would be on assignment. That's the time they got down. As they said, when it got to London, oh yeah, that's when things got heated. That's when things got heated. So, there's that. Don't give nosy Parkers or the gossips any ammunition. Plus, you'll never know who could spread the rumors of to your colleagues and to your boss when you're not about to do so. Listen, the head of ABC News sort of knew of the affair, but I wouldn't say for long. I would say it happened. I'd say within 2022. As I said before, this is something that went on for a few years now. Went on for a couple of years, I'd say. Because you're not going to divorce your significant other only after a couple of months. So it's not going to happen. It simply isn't going to happen. This was in the offing for, I would say, at least a year. A year to 2 years, to be fair. And it's only now that it came public, and now that people... And listen, the head of ABC News, I would say she would knew within the 2022 calendar year. I don't think she knew from step one of the affair, from part one of the affair from 2020 to 2021. Because, again, they started working together in 2020. 2021, I think, they started having feelings for each other, and they started, stepping out. And then 2022, they confirmed it. They're moving on. So it's been a year. Let's do the timeline. Let's do a basic timeline of things. You're not leaving your spouses within a 5-6 month time frame. It had to be for at least a year. They were canoodling. They were carrying on. At least a year or two. Especially 2021 was the start. 2022, where we are now. Things have moved to a point where, okay, I'm divorcing my husband. Are you going to divorce your wife? Absolutely. There it is. So, but they were very good at not displaying public affection. They weren't. They were very, very discreet about these sort of things. Very discreet. So, here we are, you know what I mean? So, they'd be seen walking together, but they weren't kissing each other. The one thing, you wouldn't even see them kissing each other. The one thing that they did do, smack each other in the butt. Because, and they would carry on. I mean, they had a handhold in a car. A handhold in a car. That's the worst. The worst that they could get. Maybe the butt slap and the handhold. You never saw them kissing. They never saw them hugging. You never saw them doing anything of that sort. They were smart about these things, guys. They were very smart. And number 9, remember professionalism, discretion in the workplace. Make very sure that the coast is clear. That is, meaning your colleagues, boss, and especially the gossips are not around. Well, okay, the gossips were around, but again, they couldn't pin anything on them because it was all, communal. You know what I mean? It was just, sorry about that. Long day, my friends. Long day. Sorry about that. My goodness, where did it come from? So again, when it's whether it's on work premises or outside those work premises, you need to be professional. You can't. You need to keep things discreet. Danger. You may never know who is watching. The risk of your boss or colleagues or gossip seeing you too. You never know who might be able. Well, again, most.